What I lack in height, I make for a 4-inch arm.
Yes, darling, a whole 2 inches.
All right, fashionistas.
All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ECDC, You Do You Go! I am still Queen Bee. And before I'm Queen Bee, I must look like a bee. And this is the ball specials tonight. Evelyn, where's my glasses? No shit, I need glasses.
East Coast Drag Company is a drag troupe. It's a group of people who come together, plan out shows, plan out acts, and then put them on for the general public. We formed officially this September, but we have known each other now for about 5 years. We've all been working with each other for that length of time. So we just decided that it was just common sense to come together and brand it.
You know, you may not know this, I'm actually a history major, and this was my career option. But in my books, in my years of study, I found a common trend, and that seemed to be this figure that popped up throughout history constantly and just sucking the life force out of all the men around her. And, I mean, I think you may have all met her already. I think her name is Fashionista Jones!
Before it even came to be, to me it was always something that always was, if that makes any sense. We have always worked together. We've done shows around the city, different venues, worked with a lot of different people, a lot of different fundraisers as well. And because we all get along so good and we're Newfoundlanders and we just have this extra love for each other, that's how it came to be. One day Johnny and myself were talking, and Johnny was like, hey, let's make this a thing and see where it goes. And looking back at what I would call the herstory of the LGBTQI drag world of St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, it definitely plays itself really smart, because with Newfoundland being a province and for the most part being very isolated, we're an island, we're a gigantic rock in the ocean. And it's a well-known fact that anything such as fads, trends, even something, of course, with the drag community, which is very taboo, for that to be a thing that is more in your face now, it's of course a high time that has happened.
Jade is 45% and I'm 55%. Partners in doing this, and we have very committed and talented people working with us. Not for us, with us.
Coming up next is Dr. Androbox. I have a prescription, actually. Could you fill that out for me? Thank you so much. Thank you.
So drag for me was at an interesting intersection where I was exploring my own gender identity. It came at a time where I was trying to find the man within me. So I got drunk one night, found an amateur hour in Vancouver where I was living at the time, signed up before I could change my mind, and then a week later I painted my full self, walked down the Vancouver streets and bought my first drag dick, and then went over to the store and showed it to my friend who was working there at the time. And ever since, that was about 4 years ago, and been performing in St. John's. Drag Idol 2013 was my second show, and been going ever since.
If any of you have ever seen this next performer before, please make sure you either have like rain gear on, or like a splash guard, or like a vomit bag, like something. Like, no, honestly, have something prepared, because you never know what's in store for the one, the only, the effervescently effervescent Ambrostrix!
3 years ago, it was a Christmas show, and I can't remember the drag queen's name, but when I came in, I did not have drag makeup done. It was me in the only good dress I had, and good corset and wig, and it was a female doing my makeup. So it was not drag makeup, it was male makeup on a dude, which is not a good look. If there's no beard shadow, if you don't know what beard shadow is, it's gonna look shit. It's gonna look bad. So I just kind of showed up as a dude in a dress. I just showed up as at a drag show as pretty much a cross-dresser, just a guy in a dress. And a drag queen was there and walked up, and apparently somebody had backed out at the last minute that was supposed to do the backup for their number. So they kind of walked up and said, "What's your name?" I said, "Dawn." They said, "What's your name?" I said, "Amber." They said, "You're on stage with me in 10 minutes. I was like, "Doing what? What number am I doing?" And it was, I can't remember what goddamn number it was. Anyway, it was some shitty Christmas number. I didn't know the number. I didn't know it. They gave me their phone to listen to the song twice, and immediately I was just thrown on stage. And just the idea of you're doing backup for me. I was never supposed to be a drag queen. I was just a guy in a dress that came to support a drag show.
All right, now I'd like to bring another beautiful corpse to the stage. Penny Dreadful!
The reason I started doing drag was when Manila Luzon came here like 1,000 years ago. It was the first Ru girl who ever came. And I'd never done drag before, and I just knew, I was like, when I do this, when I go see her, I have to be in drag. So I practiced as much as I could, and I'd always been decent at makeup anyway, so that wasn't the hard part. So then, yeah, I just decided this is my time to start. And I didn't perform that night. She was the only performer, I believe. But it just sparked that interest in being in drag. So then the next time there was an opportunity, we did like a drag carnival thing with us and some of the local burlesque girls, and I decided to do it again and to actually perform that time. And it just stuck.
Here is Evelyn J. Tudor.
I'd always wanted to do it after watching RuPaul's Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race really brought drag to the mainstream. And I was always so interested in it, and I had always done theater for so long. And technically what I did in theater a lot was drag, where I just performed as women. But it wasn't until I met this amazing person named Fashionista Jones, just by happenstance one day, that she met me and I met her and we clicked, and she was able to give me that push that I needed, and I wouldn't be doing this without her. I would consider myself, I guess, the newest member of my long drag family. And I have this wonderful drag mother, Fashionista Jones, and I have a drag uncle in Johnny Diamond, and all the other members. We're kind of a collective family at this point. We're not just a group of artists that work together. We're friends and a family, because we really, really bond over what we've done.
So just like we would have our own family tree in the drag world, there is a family tree. So I'll give an example. I would consider Johnny Diamond. He's my drag brother. We're cut from the same cloth, and we've already established drag brother and sister. Whereas I have my drag daughter, who's Evelyn J. Tudor. So I gave birth to her, per se, and bestowed my gifts and my wisdom and a big chunk of my influence on her.
There definitely is a family dynamic. I think Fashionista Jones is definitely, she's everyone's mother. She's always there to help. She's always there to make sure we're all together and ready and looking good. Johnny Diamond is definitely the father, the patriarch of the whole group. And then the rest of us all have our little roles in it and making sure that it all runs and that it all goes smoothly. But I think those two are really the ones that made it what it is and who formed it.
Well, I started drag as an orphan. I'm still an orphan. I've got a stepmother who's beautiful. Fashionista Jones has taken me in and given me enough pats on the head to make sure that, you know, I can get up on stage. And I think it's tough sometimes, you know, I always wanted a kinship and a bit of a family to connect with, but looking at, you know, Johnny Diamond and I, who were the first two really active kings in Newfoundland, I think it's now our responsibility to make our own families. And so I've started talking with potential younger princes who would like to get on stage and trying to open up the space of like, yeah, you can do this, you know, what help do you need? Is it the makeup? Is it the stage presence? Is it making sure that your lips are doing what they should be on stage? And creating a family in that kind of different way and starting traditions here is a neat opportunity that perhaps comes from a bit of a tougher place.
Fashionista Jones brought a certain level of professionalism to the city that really needed to be there. Beyond that, there is a certain heart and soul to ECDC, to the local drag community that has always been there. And Johnny Diamond is the backbone of local drag.
If we're gonna do one more number, we gotta do another king, because the kings have been fucking destroying it tonight, am I right? Dr. Andrew's been on fire all night long. and neck when it comes to drag kings in this city. Nobody else does it other than Andrew, like Johnny motherfucking Diamond. Give it up, your headliner!
I officially started doing drag 5 years ago, so 2013. Before drag, I was in a lot of theater stuff and would often play male characters due to my physique. And they both just kind of mixed in together to make what I am now.
A few years ago, my cousin Trina, who's much older than me, she tagged me in a picture on Facebook, and it was this picture of me. I was about 7 or 8, I think. Never seen it in my life. And here I was dressed up in this like plaid blue, oversized men's shirt with a little belted waist. Had my nails painted, she did my hair, did my makeup, and I guess she got me to pose. And yeah, I don't remember that, but I fondly remember being that young and actually like really enjoying dressing up my sister and I when we were kids. As every time my mom left the house, we would always put on little fashion shows, we'd play music, and we'd actually go in my mom's closet, her and I, and we would dress up and we'd put on a little fashion show.
I love ECDC. The shows are amazing. I love watching local talent come out and supporting them, and you know, we love partying together too. It's always a great time hanging out with friends and seeing lots of amazing stuff.
I think first and foremost, we as ECDC members demand a level of respect that I feel like the drag community has been really denied here. We're a lot farther behind than any other province. And if you go to a show downtown, there are bands, dancers constantly going on, getting a lot more respect and being treated a lot better than we ever were. And that's what we represent. We are a group of artists who love what we do, passionate about what we do, but we demand the respect and we deserved the respect.
Hopefully it's just taken more seriously, and they're all really good performers, so I don't know, I really I just love them. They're really good people.
In St. John's, I have never seen any type of violence admitted in terms of that. There's a lot of shade. There's shade wherever you go. And it's just the one thing I've learned, especially in my drag career, is to, of course, pick up on the shade and first and foremost be a professional about it. But at the same time, letting whoever is trying to dampen your flame, let them know what the tea is.
You don't have to be gay to be a drag queen, and you don't have to be masculine to be a wrestler. You can do what you want to do and have fun and just embrace yourself. If you have interests, support them.
Drag is fun. That's it. I mean, I don't know how to describe it otherwise. It's fun to play with gender and identity and makeup and becoming this other person who can do things that I can't do as Michael. There's this kind of armor you put on where I can say things and I can do things and I can be someone who maybe you can't be in real life.
There is a huge difference between being a drag performer and being a person who is trans. There's a big difference. We are performers. We are doing gender illusion. It's an act. It has nothing to do with your own personal desire, how you think about gender, how you think about sex. You can be trans and do drag, but drag people are not trans. The only thing we are making fun of is ourselves and pop culture.
I feel that no matter where I've gone in Canada, there's always a type of prejudice or a hate, and I don't like to use that word, within to me, the LGBTQI community, and it's a really unfortunate thing. And I can honestly tell you, first and foremost, with myself being a drag queen and having the reasons why I do drag, one of the biggest stigmas still is that some people in the LGBTQI community will look at me and ask me, do you want to transition to be a female? And my answer is no, because that's not why I do drag. That is something completely different than the reason why I do drag. So those things, those stigmas, those prejudices that happen within the LGBTQI community can of course confuse people. It can pit people against each other. And it's something that we, of course, as ECDC are trying our best to actually break the ties that bind everyone when it comes to that.
The message that I really want to give to audiences every time that I'm up on stage is that gender is bonkers, and it's silly, and it's weird, and it can be joyous and entertaining and not just so painful that we often hear coming out of the trans communities. We often lose the beauty that comes along with gender play. And I think what I bring to the stage is this comfortableness with being in between and being both and exploring who you are and showing it to the world and saying, you know what? I can't help this, so I'm going to grab it, take a hold of it, take control, and make it as big and bold and beautiful as I can possibly make it. And you know what? If I can do that, that's going to make it safe for you to do it as well.
Anyone can do drag. You can have like biological females doing drag, and they would be known as a bio queen, a biological queen. I've seen straight men that will get up and drag, and you know, some tips would go a long way, but I've seen biological straight men get up and do drag shows for fundraising and, you know, work it. It's their time to shine. It's Andy Warhol. It's your 15 minutes of fame.
Things like RuPaul's Drag Race show different kinds of drag, mostly high-end, fashionable, expensive drag, but there's so much, and most of it has come from comedy roots. Because basically we're just making fun of everything and everyone because we just want to have a good time and not take the world so seriously, because it does that enough as it is.
I'll be honest, my family doesn't support my wrestling and my family doesn't support my drag. I've never really had that level of support from family, but I've had that level of support from friends. The people that I do, that know what I do in wrestling, the people that know that I do drag, and the people in drag that come to see wrestling, that's what actually means the most to me, is family doesn't have to be the people you're born with. Family are the people that actually support you day in and day out, and that's what actually means the most. I don't care who wants to basically tell me what I can't do. Look at the ones that tell you what you can do, and you follow your dream, do what you want to do. And never let anybody else tell you that you can't do it.
But please don't start to think that it is yours. Talk to me, baby.
My name is Evelyn J. Tudor, and I'm a drag queen.
My name is Penny Dreadful, and I'm a drag queen.
My name is Dr. Andrew Box, and I'm a drag king.
My name is Fashionista Jones, and I'm a drag queen.
I am Johnny Diamond, and I'm a drag king.
My name is Amber Asterix, and this is East Coast Drag Company.